Hi, I'm Otaku-Mei and welcome back to the video. And this video, I'm going to be reacting to / discussing the Promised Neverland manga Promised Forest arc. So we're finally on the newish kind of stuff, past season 1 onto season 2, which we all know was a bit of a mess. And I cannot wait to see how season 2 differed from the manga or everything that was not included in season 2 from the manga, so I was really excited for this arc and I really enjoyed it. So the Promised Forest arc runs from chapters 38 to 52, and if I compare that to the anime, it's the first 2 episodes, so that's about 14 chapters covered in 2 episodes, which did not go great since there were a lot of stuff that was missing. Now that I read it, there were some minor changes, but also some major changes, which I have no idea why they changed it in the anime. I read it really quickly, it was really short and very easy to go through, and here are my thoughts, I guess. So I have my notes all written in this notebook, ready to share with you. So obviously this arc starts off with the kids having just escaped from Gracefield House. The majority of them, there's still all the little ones and Phil left at Gracefield, and Emma and Rain, all of them have left and they're freedom, they're in the forest and they're trying to get out. And one thing that I really liked from the very beginning of this chapter, which was not in the anime at all, is that we see Isabella straight away. So after the kids had escaped and she's like, go on, like be free and all that, and like I'm letting you guys go. She meets up with the grandmother and they have a discussion. The grandmother's like super angry at her for letting the kids get away, and as well as like taking like the blame and everything. We didn't see that. And then Isabella like promises to find them or something like that, I think. But we didn't even see Isabella in the anime until episode 4, I think. And she was in prison, so I don't know what's gonna get her to prison, if that's even a thing. But in the manga, we see her and the grandmother's interaction. I really like that because I just didn't like how she was kind of left so suddenly in the anime. I was waiting to see what was gonna happen to her. What was she gonna say to the grandmother and to the people in charge after the kids got away. So we got that and I really like that. And as the chapter progresses, we see a lot more of Ray's like caring, compassionate side. There's this part when they stop for a break and Emma's like being her normal cheerful self, like she's like, you go for your break and I will keep lookout and search the area and stuff. And then Ray comes over and he's like really sweet to her and stuff, and I really thought, I can't wait to see how their relationship develops even more as the manga goes on, because I know a lot of people love Ray and Emma's relationship, but we didn't get a lot of that in the anime, honestly. And I want to see like how it differs like her and Norman's relationship, because in the previous chapters and the anime we saw a lot more of Norman and Emma more than Ray and Emma, so this is what I want to see. And just Ray is so great this whole arc, like seeing his development, how he's changed, how he wants to live, how he's looking out for everyone. Like Emma and Ray are the ones in charge of all these kids right now. Like yes, there's Dawn and Gilda, which I'm going to get into later, but Emma and Ray are the ones who are leading everything, and I like seeing them work together and putting their all into it, because Emma obviously is, but Ray before was so hell-bent on like, oh, I'm gonna get my 2 friends out, it doesn't matter about me and it doesn't matter about anyone else because this is all I can do. But now he's like, no, we're gonna survive, all of us, and I'm gonna put my all into it and I care about you guys, and I love that. I cannot wait to see how far he goes, honestly. And now this is a really big thing that I was so annoyed about in the anime. I was so confused. The pen, okay? I mentioned the pen in the last video about the previous arc. We saw how Sister Crone got the pen, that she left it for Norman. But when the anime started, I know I keep going back to the anime, but this is my comparison, kind of like me thinking, this is my way of going through it. The pen was just like brought up and we just saw them using it like they knew what to do. Like Emma and Ray suddenly just knew about the pen and knew how to use it all of a sudden. Whereas in the manga, we find out that Norman kind of gave Emma instructions, Ray had no idea, and through Ray questioning Emma, that's how we found out about the pen and how it works. And as the story progresses, we find out more about the pen and the things it can do, and I really like that because I need an explanation, you know? I really need an explanation. And okay, this is a very big difference as well. In chapter 38, which is all I've talked about right now, the first chapter of the arc, at the end, all the kids go missing, except from Ray, Emma, and 2 other ones. Everyone else is gone. And I was like, well, this never happened in the anime at all. They just disappeared. Obviously, we find out later that they'd fallen down into the root of a tree or into the underground of a tree. But this didn't happen. It added something more to it. I was like, oh my god, where did they go? Like, oh my god, this is like the Promised Neverland that I know. They've gone. Where are they? anime, why did you miss out this whole part? This is the thing, I'm gonna carry on about this, but this whole section was missed out, and it was really important, which I'm gonna go into. So then we go to chapter 39, and we find Emma and Ray and the two kids left over, realizing that the others just fell into the ground, and they fall into the ground themselves, and they'll reunite, and it was all great because they're together at least. No one actually disappeared, they're just trapped by a tree, which is planning to eat them. I don't know if you've seen Ice Age 3. They gave me Ice Age 3 vibes, so if you've seen that, let me know and we can like relate in that. But yeah, tree wanted to eat them, and this is when we get to the fact that Emma and Ray and the whole kids don't actually know as much of the outside as they thought. Like, they had the books that were provided to Gracefield House, but I think those were purposely set way in the past so the kids would never be able to live outside. And yeah, this is when the kids start to find out that they don't know as much as they wish they did, and their information is off, and the world has changed, and they lack knowledge. Thankfully, they have Minerva though, and Minerva helped them even more than we thought with his adventure book, which is a big part of how they escape. But apart from the book, actually I really like that they showed the kids thinking, especially Emma and Ray. They thought their way out. They did not wait to be saved. They saved themselves. The other kids used the skills they developed over 2 months of training to escape. Like, they showed that they had worked to get here and that they were able to get themselves out of a sticky situation. Like, they didn't need to be saved. In the anime, they were straight away saved by Sonju and Mujica because this part never happened, and we just thought, okay, they can't protect themselves, but the kids are actually able to protect themselves, and I love this. This is what brought me to the Promised Neverland in the first place, that they are smart and they can fend for themselves, and seeing that once again made me so happy. With the combination of their smart thinking, their quick thinking, their skills, and Minerva's book, they managed to escape from the tree and not get eaten, and it's great. And then we found out that Minerva's book actually, yeah, his adventure book that he wrote, and it was meant to be like a creative book in their eyes, was actually a book to help them live in the outside world. Props to Minerva for writing it as an adventure book, not giving away anything. And so this is all from chapter 38 to 41. Chapter 42, they're being chased by that massive demon, and another thing I love about these kids, they are always thinking. We see, instead of them panicking and losing their minds because they're about to be eaten by a massive, terrifying monster of a demon, they're thinking. Like Emma, Ray, Dawn, Gilda, all the kids are thinking of how to get out of this, of what they have learned from before, of what they can do together as a team to get out of this situation and survive. Like, they keep saying this thing where they're like, remember, we trained for this, and I love that. Another big thing is when Ray decides to take on the demon on his own, he's like, okay, you go ahead, run away. Emma, you get away. I've got a plan. He is no longer in the mindset of sacrificing himself. This isn't his way of sacrificing himself. He believes and has the will to get out of this. He's just doing it in the way he knows how. Like, he believes he can get rid of the demon and survive. And I love that Ray no longer wants to kill himself. He wants to survive. He has that will. Again, Ray's development is amazing. He's gone from almost killing himself in Gracefield to wanting and having a real hunger to survive. And I think that's really important, especially as the story continues. Development is one of the key things in anime and manga for me, and The Promised Neverland is really showing it with Ray. Now I just hope to see it with other characters like Emma, for example. And at the end of chapter 42, the big demon, gets killed by the pursuers. The demons who are pursuing our kids from Gracefield House. Now, it's a good thing that the big demon dies, but also it's not a good thing because they have caught Ray. They've trapped him, and that is how that chapter ends. Chapter 43 is basically Ray trying to get out of the situation where the demons have trapped him. Emma faints, and Mujica appears and saves Emma and the kids. And then the following chapter, Sonju saves Ray. Now, in this moment in the manga, Emma and Ray are not sure who Mujica and Sonju are. They don't know if they're demons or humans. There's this whole tension, and they found out they're demons, and they're like, why didn't you eat us? Or did you eat the other kids? And stuff like this. Whereas I didn't have that feeling. I had it in the anime, obviously, because that was my first time. But yeah, chapter 45, which is when this all goes down, that's where season 2, episode 1 ends. So episode 1 covered 8 chapters. 8. I don't know much about manga to anime adaptations, but I'm pretty sure you're not meant to cover 8 chapters in one episode, and it shows because they did miss out a lot, and I'm so upset they missed this out and they made it too fast. Chapter 46, they obviously find out that everything is okay, and the only thing that I want to point out about this chapter is Dawn and Gilda really stepping up and taking leadership roles when Emma and Ray are out of commission. Chapter 47, the next chapter, is when Emma and Ray find out everything about the promise and the truth through Sonju and Mujica, and I really like their expressions in this chapter because they start off very horrified when they find out about the promise and everything like that, and how 1,000 years have passed and a lot is different to what they had first thought, and they're gonna have to go through a lot more hardship than they thought because the worlds are split and everything. Like the demon world and the human world are split. But then their expressions change to like ones of joy, and they start celebrating because they're like, oh, this like means we have like somewhere to go. Like we have, it's a possibility. Humans are still around and we can get there. And I love first their optimism, but also the way their expressions are drawn in the manga. It's such a contrast because like one page they're like looking like horrified, and the next page they're like immense joy, and the manga shows that really well. And like I said, unwavering positivity and optimism from the kids in Emma and Ray and all of them. Like they're all always happy and always positive. Even Ray at this point is always positive and always thinking like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and it makes me so happy to see them like staying like that, staying like they were, just very positive, and it really makes me believe they can get out of this when they believe they can get out of it, and they are always happy and smiling and cheerful. Now, chapter 48, we get this moment between Emma and Gilda, which we also had in the anime, and I just want to mention it because I really like that moment where Emma is like so used to sacrificing herself and not letting others worry about her, and Gilda grills her for it. She's like, stop putting everything on yourself, tell us if you're not okay because we're in this together and we care about you and you worry us, so just stop. And I love that Gilda does that she makes a point to show Emma what this means, that she can't just go off on her own, and that they care about her and they worry, and she needs to put some of the burden on others because otherwise Emma would just crack. And she needs to know that she's not in this alone. There's Ray, there's Dawn, there's Gilda, and the rest of the kids. Another thing about chapter 48 is we get confirmation of a different language. So obviously before I kept mentioning how this different language pops up whenever they mention this one demon, and then they talk about Teferi and stuff. The big bad demon who I think is in charge of everything and the boss of everything, he always comes up in like different writing that I can't understand. And I thought this might just be for this demon, but there's actually a whole other language that demons use. And I know this now because Mujica and Sonju use it at one point to say something secretly, and I appreciate it. I appreciate them giving me that. But obviously in the anime they didn't need that because they never even brought up that demon with the weird name. But here it gives me more, and we realize that there's a lot more. Like the demon society is a real society with their own language and their own customs and their own religions, even like Mujica and Sonju's religion. Like it's almost like the human world. Like apart from the fact that they brutally kill humans and raise them on farms and breed them just to eat them, it's a society. There's even I mentioned before, there's a hierarchy and everything. So it's interesting to see that they do have another language and that they are more similar to humans than we thought, especially Mujica and Sonju. And in this other language, Mujica and Sonju are discussing how the kids will make an enemy of the big bag demon. They'll make an enemy of him if they try to escape. But then either Mujica or Sonju are like, well, they already made an enemy by escaping, so let's give them all the information and help them out, because no matter what, this guy is already their enemy. And I want to know more about this guy, this demon. Who is he? Chapter 50, we learn about these things called mass production farms. I don't remember if they were brought up in the anime or not. Let me know if they were, if you remember, but I'm pretty sure they weren't. But in the manga, Mujica and Sonju bring up these mass production farms, which are unlike Gracefield House and the other 3. So there are 4 premium houses, which Emma and Ray and our kids were a part of. Then there are these other mass production farms, which raise kids just to be eaten. Like they literally just fatten them up, give them no freedom, no happiness, nothing, and they're just there for food. Not the highest standard, but just as a way to get food. And it made me so sad to think, like, they don't even get that fake happiness. Like, I saw Emma and Ray feeling sad for it, and I also felt a bit sad. Like, these kids, at least our kids got a bit of happiness in this make-believe, but these kids are literally just put in a factory and fattened up to be eaten. And I wonder if like Ray and Emma and all of them are going to try and save the people from the mass production farms as well. They never said they were going to, or that they were going to save anyone from any other house except from Gracefield. But I'd be interested to see if they do, and if any of these kids from this mass production farms live. You know, make it out. Also, Mujica mentions something interesting in this chapter in that the demons' appearances have become warped. I wonder if this is important, like if the demons having become warped and changed is important or not, if it's gonna come up again, if we're gonna know exactly what that means, like if we're gonna see how demons were before and how they are now. Also, throughout all these chapters, Mujica and Sonju are helping the kids get through the forest and out to the location B06 something another, which is where Minerva told them to go, through the pen. And then we get to chapter 51, which is the end of their journey through the forest. They make it out, and a bunch of interesting stuff happens, which I want to talk about. First of all, Mujica tells Emma to search for the 7 walls. What's that? Obviously don't tell me, but 7 walls? This was never mentioned in the anime. What are the 7 walls? Mujica says the future that you all seek is beyond that. So I assume the 7 walls is kind of the gate or the bridging or the connection between the human world and the demon world. I want to know what they are, and I assume this is going to be much later on when they finally do get to the point where they're going to be crossing. But now they have somewhere to go. After Minerva and everything, after finding Minerva, they have somewhere to go. They don't have to rely on Minerva in case they do not find him, because I honestly don't know if they do find him or not. They can find what these 7 walls are, and this is their key to getting out. And I want to ask, why did the anime skip this? Why was it not in the anime? And then Mujica gives Emma this amulet as well to protect her. Emma's really happy, and then they set off. And after the kids set off on the surface, we get a conversation between Sonju and Mujica. We had this in the anime as well, where Sonju's like, oh, I want to eat them, that's why I saved them, and we never find out what Mujica's motivations were to helping the kids. But in the manga, the conversation is a lot longer, there's a lot more. So Mujica asks Sonju, why did you save them? And he says for one of 2 reasons, like one of these outcomes will happen thanks to him saving them. Outcome number 1, they will break the promise, and that will hopefully allow humans to be hunted again by demons, and he wants to eat humans again. Second, if that doesn't happen, at least these humans, these like our kids, will eventually breed humans out with the farm, and those are okay for hunting as well. They're natural according to his religion. Because in the religion that he follows, that they both follow, you can't eat the farmed ones, but you can hunt. Like, it's a hunt, which is different, like hunting for survival or whatever. That's Sonju's thing. He's like, I saved them because I'm going to get to humans out of it. Mujica doesn't seem all too happy about this. I don't think she has any real motivation apart from wanting to help the kids out of the kindness of her heart. Like, she literally says and shows that she believes in them, and she really thinks they'll make it, and she really, really hopes they do. And I love Mujica. Sonju has these like dark undertones, scariness. He makes these faces once the kids are gone. Don't know how to feel. He does go on to help them by killing the pursuers as well, but I don't trust him. Another thing is that he has eaten humans before, whereas Mujica has not, and that's why he wants to eat humans more than she ever will, because she doesn't know what she's missing. Also, Sonju does mention again that the promise warped the demons, and I think he doesn't want that anymore, and I'm really interested in what they mean about that. Like, what do they mean that they warped the demons? Like, the promise seems to be a lot more and to have a lot more consequences than we originally thought. Also, I wonder how old Sonju and Mujica are. It seems like Mujica is younger than Sonju. Sonju's been around for longer. I want to know their age and their like timeline. That'd be really interesting. I wonder if we're gonna get that. And now, the biggest part that was not in the anime and is a major thing that was missed, and I was not expecting because it didn't happen in the anime, and I thought I knew what was going on, but no, psych, I did not, because they find the shelter like in the anime, they enter the shelter like in the anime, and in the anime they enter an empty room. Well, in the manga, that room is not empty. There is a person there. Right? There's a person. There is another human being in this shelter, and he's like, hey, welcome. What? Why was this not in the anime? This is like another character who I assume is going to be important. He's in the shelter. Why was he not in the anime? Someone tell me that, please. I can understand why you were annoyed. They literally cut out a whole character. As the time of recording, I have not read any more of mine because I'm trying to keep it like I film my reaction and discussion and all that before I carry on reading, so it's kind of like I don't know what's gonna happen next. You're getting my reaction only on this. I have nothing else to go off of. And I want to see more about this guy. Who is this guy? What is he about? Why is he in the shelter? How does he relate to Minerva? Are we gonna get more about why there's like help and stuff written on the walls? More information about the shelter? Like, the kids are gonna be so happy to find another human being, you know? Their only other human contact was a mother and sister crone. I believe this human is going to be helpful. I don't have his name yet. He didn't give his name at the very beginning. He was just like, hey, so chill sitting and stuff, and he looked pretty cool. His design's pretty cool. I cannot wait to see more of him, but there's a guy. But that's where this arc ends. The next arc is the Search for Minerva arc, which is longer than this one. It covers chapters 53 to 74. The wiki page no longer has how that correlates to the anime, so that makes me think that none of it was in the anime to begin with. I'm guessing this guy is going to help them find Minerva because he's not going to be in the shelter. I assume this guy is connected to Minerva in some way. Possibly. Or he was an escapee from a farm from long ago and he managed to live out this whole time and grow up to this, he looked like an adult man, or at least like late teens. Has he really lived in the shelter this whole time? I can't wait to find out. I love the manga and I cannot wait to keep reading and seeing what else it has in store for me. I think from next chapter onwards, and next arc onwards, it's all going to be new stuff. Like, I won't have anything to compare to, and that will be the most genuine of reactions ever. This arc in the manga was definitely a lot better than the anime. There were comparisons. It was nice seeing at least animations, I guess, but they missed so much, and I'm not okay with that. But I think it's going to get worse from here on. I'm going to be even more mad at the anime from here on. But yeah, that concludes my thoughts. I love this arc and cannot wait to get into the next one. Let me know what you thought, if you agree and disagree with the things I said, if you're as angry as I am that things were not included. And yeah, I will see you in this Searching for Minerva arc. Thank you for waiting for these reactions / discussions. I know they take a little longer than the other videos, especially the one before this one took quite a while to get out, I'm sorry. It's just these do take a bit longer because there's more editing and there's more things to do, and I get lazy with the editing. I'm sorry guys. I do, but I'm gonna try and be faster because I want to keep reading. I need to keep up my editing with the reading. So yes, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like, subscribe if you did, and follow me on Twitter. Until next time, bye.